concept. Whether you're interested in earning all the badges or not, I mean, there is a sort of a motivational factor there of being able to, kind of pick and choose and decide what you want to do and have that little digital credential that you put in your backpack. And, it's kind of like you collect cards or you collect whatever, you can collect digital badges. So another reason that I wanted to do it in Sakai using the existing functionality is that I know a lot of faculty are interested in using badging in their coursework to motivate students to maybe get a little bit of a gamified experience going in their courses. So this could help me illustrate to people how they might use Sakai to be able to do some of those things. So, so the first thing I did is I defined my 3 levels of badges, and I talked about my audience already, but I had to kind of decide, how much was I going to cover, because again, it's not training people to use Sakai necessarily for this, it's more just showing that they already know it. So I had to be very specific. Can you guys hear the drill in the back? It's a little distracting. I had to be very specific in what I was trying to accomplish here with this. And then obviously I selected the delivery platform as Sakai, but I had to choose which tools to use. I used primarily lessons to structure it, and then I used tests and quizzes for some of the assessments, and then also the assignments. But again, I wanted it to be an example of what somebody could do in their current class, like right away. And then once the badges are earned in the course, I had to determine how I was going to get those out to people, and that's why we went ahead and went with Credly, because right now it's not natively supported to award badges directly from Sakai in terms of sending it out and sharing it. You could certainly put in a mechanism where you send people an image, that would work. But Credly, what that does is it allows you to officially verify it. So if people go to it on the web, they can click on it, go to the issuer's website, and see that it's a validated issuer. So it lends it slightly more authority because we know that it's coming from a legitimate place, and not necessarily just somebody who created their own badge and just stuck it up there with nothing behind them representing it. So that was kind of the idea of going with Credly to maintain that part of the service. But we are interested, and is Matt here? See him? No, he's not here.
He's out of
Oh, okay. We were talking amongst ourselves at Longsay. We would like to be able to do some of this directly from Sakai, and so we were talking about ways and possibilities for maybe an LTI tool that would plug in that would do the Credly portion of it, so that it's more self-contained within the system, and you don't necessarily have to have another account outside of Sakai. It's kind of all within the course. So that's what we're brainstorming. We haven't done any development yet on that, but that's something that we're definitely interested in. So we're trying to gauge the interest in the community for something like that. Now, in terms of building the site, I had to map out, what does it mean to be a trained Sakai instructor? What should a typical, trainer know? What does it mean to be a Sakai admin? So I had to kind of think about things, what would I look for in someone, coming in, maybe applying for a job, or coming in and demonstrating a certain skill set, and identify how I'm going to assess that, because again, these are badges, so we didn't want to make it too hard. We didn't want to make it so impossible that nobody would do it, but we didn't want to make it so easy that anybody off the street could just say, boom, I have a badge, and then they have this credential that says that they can do something which maybe they can't. So it was kind of that trade-off, and there's always that tension in education between, an authentic assessment and loads of grading, and you don't want to get yourself caught in, this endless, grading cycle. But again, you want it to be fairly rigorous without being overly rigorous. So, so what I settled on was some challenge, or actually multiple quests, which is how I've structured it, that are set up as quizzes, and those are auto-graded. You get immediate feedback, so you know right away if you passed that quest. And then quests combined into missions, where you can do a certain number of missions, and then you unlock a boss challenge. And once you unlock the boss challenge, that's kind of the capstone. And that one's a little more personalized. That one uses the assignment tool. That one has to be manually scored. So that's kind of how I compromised with the tool set that I had available to me. And again, I used testing quizzes for the quests. The assignment tool was for the boss challenge. The levels are the different roles: instructor, admin, trainer. And then everything feeds into the gradebook. Because thinking ahead here, I wanted it to all go into the gradebook so that if eventually we do get some sort of LTI tool that can automatically pull that gradebook data and award those badges, we want to make it easy for ourselves down the road. So all of these items feed into the gradebook. And then the boss challenges, that's a selective release item. So that's released by group. Once I see that they've completed all the multiple choice stuff, then I add people to that group and they automatically get access. So leveraging a few of the features of lessons. Now once I get it into the gradebook, my calculations were a little more complicated than the gradebook can currently support, because it's very much based on player choice. So it wasn't a specific set of activities, it was whichever ones you choose and a certain number of each type. So I export everything out to Excel, and then I have a bunch of formulas in Excel that do what I want it to do. So it tells me who needs a badge, who's who's unlocked the boss challenge, that sort of thing. So let me take you on a short tour. I'm going to try the internet and see if the wireless will cooperate with me. If it doesn't, I have screen captures. Give it a sec to load. Maybe. Okay. So here's the badging site. And the badges are shown here as, yes. Oh, you're not seeing it? Okay. Let me downsize this. There. Did it catch up yet? No? Alright, I'll just end the show and then go to the browser.
You might have to drag it over.
Other way.
Is it a Mac or PC?
PC.
If you do Windows P, it will give you your options. And clone will be an option. I think your desktop is extended.
That's a good thing. Yay.
Yay, thank you.
I'll send you the later.
All right, so this is the badging site. It's a little compressed here, but I'm used to 2 monitors since my display was extended. So if you go in here, you'll see there's a little welcome message, and the badges that are previewed here are previewed in grayscale just because the badge itself is kind of the prize. So I didn't want to give the whole thing away to people until they actually earned it. So it just tells you a little bit about it. And let me switch to the student role so you can see. I've got most of the stuff in here hidden because I wanted it to just be very focused on the tasks that are available to them. So again, I've used the lessons tool to provide an overview